Peace to all within the sound of this broadcast. In this presentation, I would like to build on the recent events surrounding Lord Jamal,
Big on it, God.
a figure many once held in high regard,
Cause every time I rock around, I show Jamal's intellectual.
showing himself in a way that some may consider less than respectful.
If gravity is holding down oceans that are tons of fucking of fucking force, how does anything swim through the ocean? But yes, people, I admit I shit the bed.
Despite his status as a hip-hop legend and cultural contributor, his recent actions and statements have sparked a wave of reflection among those who once looked up to him. This pattern of witnessing so-called respected figures falling from grace is nothing new. It has been happening for some time now. Personally, I have observed this particular situation with Mr. Lord Jamal since 2018, and over the past 7 years, I have consistently emphasized that his views have nothing to do with the 5% nation or the universal flag he continues to associate with.
And so when you see things that are outside of the alignment with God,
This flag, which encompasses the sun, moon, and stars, also encompasses values that should not be mixed, diluted, or tampered with. The recurring instances of prominent figures losing the respect they once commanded raises important questions. Is this part of a broader conspiracy to discredit influential voices? Or is it an unveiling of their true nature over time? Perhaps the answer may lie somewhere in between.
Big on it, God.
Yet it serves as a critical reminder the principles that the 5% uphold should always outweigh personalities that some idolize. At the heart of this particular issue lies the nature of our relationship with public figures. Many of us form parasocial relationships, which are one-sided emotional bonds with celebrities and entertainers. These bonds often lead us to conflate their public personas with their personal realities. When they falter or behave in ways contrary to our expectations,
Tell me the definition of weight.
it's your fucking head on your fucking shoulders, you fat
Oh,
head
someone's
bitch.
getting a little sassy because he
Like,
doesn't know the answer to the
bro.
question.
it can seem deeply personal.
Yo, tell your man something, bro. Like right now.
okay.
But yes, people, I admit I shit the bed.
Even though the connection exists primarily from our perception. Furthermore, celebrity worship syndrome highlights how some individuals place entertainers on pedestals, expecting some kind of moral authority from them. When these celebrities inevitably show their flaws, it can seem like a betrayal.
But yes, people, I admit I shit the bed.
In the culture of the 5%, knowledge is the foundation and the basic tenet of civilization. Knowledge is to look, listen, observe, and also respect. Respect is fundamental to the 5% culture. Respect and knowledge are one and the same, forming the cornerstone of civilization. While disrespect often calls for disrespect in return, I'm going to lead with respect and put disrespect in its proper context. In looking, listening, observing, and also respecting, one has to acknowledge the contributions of Lord Jamal,
Big on it, God.
a rap artist who alongside his brand Nubian brothers has championed the tenets of the 5% nation through their music over the years.
You gotta know the leisure, wise and dumb, and understand your culture of freedom. Power equally with the gods, so you can build and bone your cipher.
Music that many of us has enjoyed as well as become the soundtrack to our early years. It is frustrating, to say the least, to witness what has been happening over the last 6 or 7 years.
Since everybody's watching right now, everybody's got their eye on me. I'm sure there's mad people that are here.
It is even more unsettling to see our heroes fall from grace,
But yes, people, I admit I shit the bed.
reminding us that entertainment is not real life. This realization is akin to learning that Santa Claus isn't real, or that the Easter Bunny wasn't the one leaving money under our pillow. As Darkham said on his Random Jewels channel, Christopher Reeves couldn't actually fly.
What you see on TV, man, is not real. Whoever's on there doing whatever they doing, right? That stuff is not real.
Superman was just a character. These realizations reflect our complex relationships with public figures, also known as parasocial relationships. Parasocial relationships occur when the audience form a deep emotional bonds with celebrities or fictional characters, despite the connection being entirely one-sided. While this broadcast will address moments of disappointment and disagreement, I will maintain the principles of respect, which in essence is the foundation of our culture. 85% of the people may or may not know that the 5% nation and its influence predates hip-hop, yet it has become an integral part of hip-hop, shaping its style, language, and ethos. Phrases like "word is bond" and "standing on your square" or "forming a cipher" all originated in the cipher of the gods and earths, educating hip-hop with the foundation of knowledge and self-awareness. The knowledge of the 5% is not new. In fact, it is an ancient knowledge and science manifested in this modern day and time. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, much of this knowledge and wisdom was being buried by extracurricular activities of the time, or generational forgetfulness combined with many other societal pressures threatened to erode the culture's teachings, although the 5% continue to teach despite all of this. However, artists like Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Poor Righteous Teachers, and later Brand Nubian were taught by the 5%, to which they amplified this knowledge and wisdom to a more mainstream audience, who were unfamiliar with this knowledge and wisdom and certainly lacked understanding. Out of these groups, Brand Nubian stood out for their unapologetic upfront embrace of the 5% teachings. Their album, One for All, became the theme music for the 5% and Black consciousness, with singles like Sunshine, whose video was filmed outside of a law school in Mecca in the early 90s, leaving an indelible impression on the youth culture of the time, maybe not so much for the older folks. However, as a 12-year-old seeking knowledge at that time, this album became my theme music. It validated and gave sound to the knowledge and wisdom I was seeking since my childhood, and stating that I was God. Now, growing up in a Christian household, this assertion was met with resistance. My older physical had this knowledge. However, a 12-year age difference made it difficult to directly connect with him in that way. With his dealings in street culture, my old earth encouraged me to stay away from whatever he was into. Yet even that couldn't keep me away from this knowledge. Seeing the Sunshine video gave me a point of reference and a destination to reach, which was a law school in Mecca, which I made it my business to visit at some point, which I eventually did in 1994. Yet discovering a community that taught what I already knew and was telling my family set me on a passionate pursuit of this knowledge and wisdom, yet not fully grasping that the understanding will indeed come in time. This One for All album stood out for its diverse representation of culture. Each member brought unique energy, with Grand Puba's stylish and flamboyant persona reflected the fashionable essence of the time. Sadat's unorthodox rhymes, paired with Jamal's militant and unapologetic stance, created music that was not only entertaining, yet also enlightening. Their second album, In God We Trust, marked Puba's departure, but retained the group's use of 5% teachings. Tracks like Punks Jump Up to Get Beat Down and Allahu Akbar, that was also shot in a law school in Mecca, showcased the militant sound and cultural pride of the group. They also sampled Farrakhan building on the 16th degree in the 1 to 40.
Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us that there is 5% who are the poor righteous teachers.
Popular sayings like "love me or leave me alone" has its roots with 5% history. The album also included an interpolation of the Enlightener.
And every day, each and every way, we're gonna show and prove, teach you the righteous way.
Originally created by the god Jamal sometime in the late 60s, Brand Nubian updated it with a soulful 1990s hip-hop beat that continues to get played at nation events.
We're gonna show and prove.
For many, the Brand Nubian music was more than just raps. It was a cultural soundtrack, and for me, it echoed a path that I was already walking. And by their third album, the music landscape had shifted, and the group's synergy waned, yet their foundational work cemented their legacy, leaving an indelible mark on hip-hop and youth culture, especially within 5% of that time period. Jamar's influence extended beyond music, branching into television, and mentoring artists like Dead Prez, solidifying his legendary status. Even as his music slowed, his cultural impact endured. He produced the 5% album, a project he later admitted was inspired by a white label executive at Baby Grand Records, the label that serviced this release. Despite this revelation, the 5% continued to support him. However, it raised the critical question: was his commitment to the culture genuine, or was it driven by personal gain? Now, I was honored to meet Jamal through my brother born Jamal, and to collaborate on early episodes of Jamal's podcast. It was a unique opportunity to continue a platform that aligned with many of our shared values. At least that's what I thought. Yet, working closely with him revealed certain behaviors that left me questioning his motives and mindset. Out of respect, I addressed these concerns privately, aiming to guide and correct him as we move forward. My intentions was to help him realign with the culture he said he represented. However, it became evident that in his mind, I was the younger, less accomplished god. This perception influenced how he received my efforts, and although there were times he couldn't deny it, his arrogance did get the best of him, as he seemed to view himself as a better knower and more knowledgeable figure. It was clear that he may have had more music industry experience. However, I certainly superseded him in the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of this culture. One moment of indifference that had me perplexed was a conversation with Jamar and Rod Digger. The topic of a flat earth arose. Initially, I thought he was debunking the theory, but to my surprise, he revealed that he believed in it. As someone deeply rooted in the lessons of the 5% Nation, this revelation was jarring. Our teachings are grounded in mathematics and science, which clearly states that the Earth is 24,896 miles in circumference, approximately 25,000 miles in circumference, and travels at the speed of 1,037 1/3 miles per hour on its way around the sun. Now, at this time in 2018, I asked him how long has he been studying this. He responded with 6 days. I was even more perplexed with how could someone with 25 years of study forsake the foundational facts of 120 lessons for 6 days of unverified exploration, stating that the signs that we were observing wasn't real. I could see if he was putting these facts into question and was willing to build and correct any errors with proper education. Instead, he was arrogantly committed to this theory that has been debunked several times, throwing 120 lessons to the wind because it didn't uphold his flat earth theory, rooted in confirmation bias and anecdotal reasoning. He refused to bring his theories to our universal parliaments or come to a law school with these theories, knowing that they wouldn't be accepted, especially not on face value as he had done. When I asked Jamal how he reconciled phenomena like time zones and weather patterns, his responses lacked mathematical rigor. Instead, they were rooted in emotions and based on limited perspectives, much like we see in the public displays of his fall from grace.
Yes, people, I admit, I shit the bed.
Needless to say, our exchange became heated and intense, and lasted for several days, with him sending me flat earth materials that was rooted in confirmation bias and anecdotal reasoning, and lacking scientific literacy. He even convinced his brother and had him repeating the same anecdotal reasoning that Jamar was parroting. I asked if supreme mathematics was still his foundation. He said yes, to which I told him if that were true, then there is a chance for him to recover from this mental death. I don't think he liked that too much, because he went on to block me from working on the podcast, which I was actually relieved, because I didn't want to be associated with what I saw as an anecdotal reasoning and lacking scientific basis. Now, this was 2018. I remained quiet for a year out of respect. I wasn't trying to disrespect the man or disparage his views. I was just attempting to mathematically reason with the man, to which I saw was impossible, because he always became irrational with those who disagreed with him. As time went on, I saw that he was still wearing the universal flag of the sun, moon, and stars, and incorrectly using mathematics on his podcast.
I'm about to get controversial here, right? Okay, because even in the 5% nation, traditionally, we teach that cipher is almost like an add-on number, but really cipher is all numbers. Said most people would put the zero last, is all I'm saying, and they would say add cipher. But that's true. Although that's traditionally how we teach it, that's I can't teach it like that anymore, because that's really not correct. Zero is the entirety of all things. But anyway,
this shows that he did not have the correct teachings, which can be remedied by coming amongst the 5% and letting the 5% teach him. Surely those who are qualified could do the job. Ignorance can be corrected. Arrogance refuses correction. I did my own broadcast on this channel with my brother, Divine Understanding Born of Allah, and he highlighted some interesting perspectives of the Flat Earth religion.
Because this is what I do know for a fact. Flat Earth syndrome, Flat Earth people, Flat Earth society, that whole Flat Earth theology, metaphysics, scientific understanding of what they think the universe is about is a religion.
Word is bond. I see that.
Although I made knowledge born that his Flat Earth theories is not what the 5% teaches, him or his theories has nothing to do with the 5% or the flag that he refused to let go of. Many of us remained his fans. From my perspective, his expressed mindset and theories has tainted the music that I once thought was dope. It's like listening to the old R. Kelly tracks, undeniably genius and timeless, yet stained by the weight of what has been said and done. The unsettling truth lingers, a sharp reminder that we are being led astray under the guise of cosplay.
I admit I shit the bed.
But look, I told you so. If you go watch that live stream, right? All I gotta say is I told you so.
Throughout the years, there has been talk of exile, as he has consistently mocked the teachings of the 5% with an air of arrogance, as though he were wiser than those who came before him.
I'm saying the sun is here with us in our atmosphere. It is not 93 million miles away. It is more like 30 miles away. So I don't know how far, but it's not 93 million miles away. I'll tell you that. It is more like 30 miles away. I don't know how far. Part of being a man is you can admit when you're wrong. You know, when I actually meant to say that it was 30 miles in diameter. But anyway, I don't know how far. Question if I'm still a 5%er. Fuck out of here.
He has disrespected fellow 5%ers on public platforms.
Wait, don't know 120. You ain't one of us.
Shut the fuck up.
Yo, see? Fuck up. Yo, man, calm down.
Inviting them to his frank stand, while pandering to Europeans who share his perspective, conducting himself in ways that are neither respectful, rational, nor aligned with the principles of the 5%. And because of this, my brother Black Man Allah, also known as Kenyatta Black, called for his exile. a move designed to give him an escape from the mess he has created for himself without resorting to any violence. He has clearly separated himself from the tenets of the 5% Nation and its teachings.
But yes, people, I admit, I shit the bed.
It is best for him to leave us be and go do his own thing. He can go start a nation of flat earthers, complete with his own flat earth flag. He released a song called Elephant in a Room, which showcases his ignorance on another level, despite showing his decent rap skills. The song is worth listening to, not because it's lacking quality, as he undeniably knows how to craft music to his advantage, yet because it starkly exposes his lack of true study. For instance, he seriously poses the question in his lyrics, if the Earth is 93 million miles from the sun, then why is it dark in space? God damn. Well, space is dark because there is no atmosphere to scatter the sunlight like the Earth's atmosphere does. On Earth, sunlight interacts with air molecules, creating the blue sky we see. In the vacuum of space, there is nothing to scatter the light, so it appears dark, even though the sun's light is still traveling through it. He clearly doesn't have an understanding of what a vacuum is as it relates to space.
Well, you think that space is a vacuum cleaner because you don't know what a vacuum is? You don't know what vacuum is. What's a vacuum? What does vacuum mean? Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. What the fuck is a vacuum?
It has no air. It's, you know.
It's an absence of matter. Mm-hmm. So why the fuck would the vacuum of space pull air anywhere? Can you explain that?
A vacuum also pulls things, sir.
No, it doesn't. Vacuums don't suck. That's not a thing.
If vacuum is
so you don't know what a vacuum is?
Where we know him from? We know him from rapping and acting. So you know how to flow with words and play the part. But do we know him from being a cipher building on mathematics?
He spoke of exiling our brother Sunez, who has put in years, months, and days of work within the 5% Nation.
Said in the past, Puerto Ricans have been trying to colonize the 5% Nation. You know, you right about that. Some of them have. Yes. What? There's a couple suckers in there. This dude named Sunez, he need to get the fuck out of here. Like this dude. These dudes think they try to come in and try to act like they extra smart or something like that. And they, you know, like this one, man, I don't even want to get this dude no real pub, but there's a couple of them that I'm not feeling them dudes. And they're going to end up getting their ass exiled. They keep fucking around with me.
Sunez has put in way more work than just grabbing a microphone and making records with 5% language. Sunez, in fact, has dedicated his life to teaching at the school every Thursday since the early 2000s. A rapper who merely sprinkles 5% language into his records is not qualified to dictate who gets exiled, especially one who embraced the flat earth theories and turned his back on the foundational teachings of the 5%. There is no such thing as an African American 5% or Boricua 5%. These divisive labels only serve to fracture the unity that the teaching strives to build. I love this nation because it has taught and continues to teach that the black man is God.
The black man is God, okay? That is a foundational black American organization.
The black man is God, and from the black man, all things originate. And as God, we carry the responsibility to teach civilization to all human families of the planet Earth. Therefore, any rhetoric that seeks to separate the black, the brown, and the yellow is a deviation from the teachings of the 5%. Likewise, any assertion that the earth is flat is a departure from supreme mathematics and the knowledge that we uphold. And as for the FBA organization, Foundational Black Americans, its foundation lies in the discourse on reparations, a subject that does have merit. However, we must be cautious not to sell each other out over dollars or seeking the colonizer's approval on who is deemed worthy of the scraps from his table.
I won't diss the next brother till he paid us, and my trade is just a plan that is designed by the colored man.
As a 5%er, we are taught to unite the seeds, from the first of the black to the last of the yellow. Yet someone with the knowledge of themselves and all the human families of the planet Earth will understand the power of uniting the human families, not dividing us with divisive language. It is evident that Lord Jamar is in need of re-education on what it means to be a 5%er. At the core of this knowledge is civilization, conducting oneself in righteousness and in a refined manner, both at home and abroad.
But yes, people, I admit, I shit the bed.
In addition, someone should have taught you that a zero and a cipher is not one and the same.
I can't teach it like that anymore because that's really not correct. Zero is the entirety of all things.
And neither comes before knowledge. A zero represents nothing. A cipher is 360 degrees of completion, and there is a difference. You won't ever get something from nothing. Knowledge is first and foremost. Going from knowledge to born, then back to knowledge, produces a cipher or completion, which is, or could be, a person, place, or thing. You cannot get something from nothing, so you will always have to start with knowledge, not a zero. Study your lessons. You will see that the earth is not flat. A mental death is recoverable. Yet in this case, the possibilities appear to be slim.
But yes, people, I admit, I shit the bed.
This does not take away from Jamal's status as a hip-hop legend, yet it does put his mental stability in question. However, if one seeks to build with the 5%, one must come amongst the 5%, not dictate from a distant platform under the illusion of educating an entire nation.
Ouch, I know it hurts, guys, but I love y'all, and I'm gonna help y'all. We're gonna do this together. We're gonna renew our history together.
Listen, as somebody, man, who's been a teacher for years, man, you can't really teach like that.
This is not how nations grow, progress, or stand strong. The key is to come together and build, even in disagreement, something that too many of us have neglected, as history has recently and consistently shown. I can hear Darkham now saying, keep those crazy people away from us.
Be aware, right, of who you calling your brother.
There has been claims that Jamal believes he was drugged.
Lord Jamal said that I drugged him.
Yeah, he drugged him. He said, I think your boy drugged me. I go, what?
But I definitely was not myself that night.
But you smoke all day, every day. He's always rolling joints on there.
He rolled 3 blunts.
Suggesting that this explains his behavior on Godfrey's platform. Even alleging that Godfrey set him up to look bad, as if he needed help from someone to do that.
But yeah, I was just not in my right state of mind.
Those familiar with Jamal's personality know that his conduct was not out of character. He looked bad simply because he did not know what he was talking about.
Fuck you.
Oh, he's definitely done talking because he can't handle somebody who actually knows what he's talking about, tearing apart all the bullshit that he chose to believe from the Eric Dubé videos.
He later brought his so-called experts onto his own platform.
I brought my experts with me. Okay.
Yet he seems to be unaware that Professor Dave embarrassed Flat Earth Dave in the same fashion that he embarrassed Lord Jamal.
This is one of the easiest ways to know that the Earth is a sphere, because everything we see, everything, including the Earth, right, very large, massive objects are crushed into a sphere. That's why stars, planets, moons, everything pretty much is spheres. So you can now go ahead and do your like electric gravity bullshit, and then I'll explain to you why it's stupid.
Yet these are Jamal's experts.
What's up, man?
What's good, my brothers?
You can go check this out for yourself, how delusional They are. Now, there's even talks of lawsuits.
He said, I'm going to take some legal action. You know, if you, and then he goes, I didn't sign anything to show my, it's like that. You can't, you've been on my podcast before. Now you're doing this legal shit. Whatever, it's clever.
A distraction from the real issue at hand. Knowledge demands respect. In fact, knowledge is respect. And with respect, I acknowledge the contributions of Jamal in the entertainment world. However, this situation does not reflect well on him or those who have supported him. Yet, if he can return to the foundation, which is supreme mathematics, there remains a chance for recovery from this mental death. And with that, I say peace.
You must do your own research, as I did.
If Mecca did this.